Hello and welcome to the Blackboard training for students. My name is Aurora Adney. I am a Blackboard person here at ASU Three Rivers, and we're going to go through how to use Blackboard. So let me share my screen and go through this with a few things that you'll want to know. Let me close over here. You're going to start over here on the courses page once you log into Blackboard, and then you're going to find in a list here the names of your courses. So you'll click on the title of the course, and it'll bring you into, okay, that's not the right one, this one. This is a sample of what you might see in a course that, welcome to whatever course it is. The course ID and the section number, possibly who your instructor is. Over here in the left with the black background, you will see the course menu. In your view, you won't have this lower portion, only instructors will. So you'll see basically what's here at the top. Now, I'm just going to kind of go down the course menu here. Announcements, if your instructor has an announcement that they need to make to the whole class, they'll post it here. And for the first 7 days, it'll show out here on the home page. So when you see an announcement out here, if you click on it, it will take you into the same place as this, and you'll be able to read the full text of those announcements. The next thing we have here is the syllabus. Now, this may wind up being either a direct, as a web page. It could be a file that you may need to open or download. And I do recommend that you download and maybe print a hard copy of it to keep accessible. But it has a lot of information in it. Basically, this is a contract between the instructor and the students. Everything you need to know to be successful in this class is going to be found in the syllabus or in the course information. The next thing in this list is course content. This is where your class material will be found. You may see something that looks similar to this. It may say week 1, chapter 1. It could include a description of what type of content is being covered that week. But these are basically folders. So I'm going to click on the title of it, and this is a sample of basically what you might expect to see in a course. Your instructor may have lecture notes that are things they consider to be very important. It is part of your course material, and you do need to read it. It could look like this. You may be able to, there may be a file there that you would want to download. Now over here in the upper right corner where it says page 1 of 5, then there's a chevron there. You can advance to the next page by clicking on that chevron. Once you get off of page 1, you'll have one to go back or forward. You can also, as long as the link over here is blue, you could go directly to, you can, click directly on those. Now, be aware that depending on how your instructor sets this up, you may have things that are not blue links. And that basically means you have to read the material that precedes that and before you can get into it. Now, you may also, for example, not see the quiz for that week. It may be that your instructor has the settings for the course so that you don't even see it, that you must absolutely read every bit of the content that precedes it. And until you do, you won't even see the quiz. So if you miss a quiz, it may be because you didn't read all the material as you were going through the content. And they do that on purpose to make sure that you're getting the information you need to be successful on that quiz. So here I've moved from lecture notes to the discussion. Some instructors are going to use discussions. Fully online courses tend to use them more frequently than face-to-face classes or hybrid classes. But that doesn't mean that a fully face-to-face class or hybrid won't use one, because they very well may. When you see it here, you may see the contents of what the discussion is. In this one, it's created as an introduction, and it'll give you information on what you need to do. You may need to do some research before you start your discussion. So here I'm going to click to launch, and in order to access the instructor's post is probably going to be one on the very bottom in the event that you're not the first one to post. You'll see out here how many total posts are in something, but again, the blue text is a link. So I'm going to open that, and here's a post, that's posted. You can reply to it, but you may also be required to reply to X number of your classmates' posts. You may also, let's see, let me go back in this, because there's something else that you may need to see. You may also be required to create your own thread. If you do that, put something out there that's gives some kind of hint. It will say your name out next to it, but like discussion 1 introductions, a hyphen last name, something like that. So here I'm going to show you the create thread. Notice there's an asterisk next to the subject line. That indicates that it's a required field. You could send post a blank post, but it has to have a title on it. So this is not an appropriate subject line, but I'm just making stuff up as we go. Okay, so if when you get to, and the text editor is like this throughout the entire Blackboard system, when you get to a text editor like this and you only see the first row of formatting tools, go out here to the far right where the 3 dots, the more is, click on it and it'll open up the rest. There's usually 2 to 3 lines depending on how your monitor is set up, and there you have the tools to do bold, italic, underline, choose your font style, size, colors, bold, bullets, numbers, different things like that. To add a picture in, this very last icon, the circle with the plus sign in it, is how you would insert a graphic. So I'm just going to blah 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 here. You have the option to attach a file. This will take you to your local computer files. And then you just click the submit button and boom, that's it. And here you see the discussion post I just made. So I'm going to go back into course content, and if your instructor posts a link to a YouTube video, it will display in the class. It'll look like this. All you have to do is click the watch video. A pop-up will come up, which reminds me to let you know you need to, in your pop-up blockers, whitelist Blackboard, and I also recommend that you whitelist ASU Three Rivers. So once you have, and that's so that your pop-ups like this don't get blocked. Once this opens in the pop-up, you just click on the red play button and it'll play right there in the course like this. I recommend that you watch whatever videos your instructors post, because sometimes they create homework assignments based on the videos they post. Sometimes there are test questions or discussions that occur as a result of the content that's posted in these discussions. They're not just entertainment, they are part of your classwork. So to close these out, in the upper right corner, click the X. So we're going to advance one more to the assignment. Now, in this section, it's going to tell you how many points are possible. Below that, in this section, you will see the instructions for this particular assignment. The way to make an A is figure out what your instructor is asking for and just give it to them, whatever that is, all of it. Now, in the assignment submission, you will see this write submission. You also have the option to upload a file, and there's this comment section. The comment section is not where you want to type your answers, or your homework assignment. It is literally for comments like 1 or 2 sentences. That is some kind of a note, that you to tell your instructor, something, the power blinked or something. I had problems, I think I need more instruction on this topic, something to that effect. If you type your assignment in this section, your instructor may give you a 0 because it is so difficult to, the space they have in their view is so tiny for what gets posted in the comment section. It's darn near impossible to grade that. It's very, very difficult. And they might just give you a 0. So for a text submission, you want to click this write submission. Here we also have to add our formatting tools back in if we're going to use any of those. And here, if your assignment is going to take very long, I very, very highly recommend, regardless of how long it's going to take, type it up in a Word document, save that document. So if power blinks, Word will save what you've done. If you're typing it into this text editor and the power blinks, it's gone. There's nothing to save. It's just gone. Also, if you have that window open and Blackboard times out, as in you've had it open so long, Blackboard just timed you out. It's gone. There is nothing to retrieve. So you really, really want to create it in a Word document, save the document, and then copy and paste it. And when you do copy and paste, you cannot use right-click paste. You can copy it, you can pick it up in any format, process you want, but to paste it into this text editor, you have to use the Control V on your keyboard. The Control button is all the way in the lower left, and the V button on that bottom row just above the space button. So if your instructor says, name 3 computer components, you're going to want to do that in write submission. You could do it in a Word document and then attach it there, but if they specify they want it in the write submission, you need to do that. And like I said, figure out what they want and just give it to them. So I'm going to just making stuff up. Okay. Now, down here in the lower right corner, you see cancel, save as draft, and submit. If you choose save as draft and you never go back and submit it, your instructor cannot, will not, but they cannot open your submission, which means they cannot grade it. And they will, if you never go back and do it, the only thing they have left to do is to give you a 0. So make sure you click submit. Now, if you just need to save it as a draft for a couple of minutes, fine. Then go back and finish what you're doing, fine. Just when you're finished, click the submit button and make sure that it is the submit button, not the save as draft. So I'm going to click submit on this. Now here I get kind of a snarky message from Blackboard because of the role I'm in. So let me switch to student preview, and this is, you know, when I go back to it, it's showing me this. I'm going to click OK. So here, the next thing it does is it takes me to the quiz. And most weeks you'll have a quiz. You might have one every week, you might not, depending on the instructor and the content. Here, this is just some information about it. This quiz contains samples of the most common types of questions, but that would say something about whatever your course is. So I'm going to click to launch. Now, when you are on this page, you need to make sure to read the instructions that you see here. In this one, this says this test can be saved and resumed later. What this means is if the power blinks, you can get in and finish the test, but you get right back in. It does not mean that you can answer 3 or 4 questions, pause it, come back, go cook dinner, come back and finish the test if you only have 30 minutes to take the test. So this one doesn't say it's timed, but almost all of them are going to be timed. It'll tell you here how much time you have, and that when you click the begin button, the timer starts. So when you click begin and you answer a couple of questions, maybe that takes you 5 minutes, and it's a 30-minute quiz. At 30 minutes, regardless of whether you've answered any more questions or not, it's going to submit. So all of those unanswered questions then become zeros. So before you click this begin button in the lower right corner, make sure you have stopped the world. Feed the kids, the dogs, lock yourself in your office or bedroom or wherever. Turn the world off before you click the begin button. Make sure nothing's on the stove. Stop the world. So here it also will tell you if there are multiple attempts or not, or if there are, say, 2 attempts, it'll tell you you have 2 attempts. This one is set for unlimited attempts, so it just says this test allows multiple attempts. Okay, so I'm going to click the begin button. And this is displaying one question at a time. Your instructor may set it up so that all of the questions display all at the same time, in which case you could answer them in any order you want to. So that we're going to look at some of the different types of questions. This is an agree-disagree question type. So I'm going to, after having read the question, I'm going to click select my answer. Now over here, where it says 2-point save answer, if you noticed, it automatically saved it. I know my mouse was kind of over it at the same time. I can manually save it, but after a couple of seconds, it will automatically save. So here we have questions. This says I'm on question 1 of 10. Now notice beyond the 10, there is a single chevron and a double chevron. If this test was set up that questions are delivered 1 question at a time and are displayed you have to answer in the order they're displayed and you cannot backtrack. That means, and that would be on that initial instruction page I said to make sure to read. If I click this double chevron, that's going to take me to the very last question in the test. If I do that on a test that's set with no backtracking, it means I missed questions 2 through 8, and I can answer 10, but I miss everything in between. So you need to be sure that you know what that instruction page says, and be careful about that, the single chevron or double chevron. So I'm going to advance to the next one. This is a short essay. These have to be manually graded. Some question types are Blackboard will grade them. On the the manually graded things like short answers, little essays, stuff like that, the instructor has to manually grade those, so it won't automatically put your grade in your grade book. So here I'm just going to say blah, blah, blah. I'm going to save it. And now I'm going to go to the next question. This would be attach a file. Make sure you see your file name there. And I recommend using JPEGs or PNGs. It's saved, so I'm going to the next question. This is a fill in the blank. I'm going to say, okay, saving, going to the next. Here, this is you're going to get drop down boxes, so you're going to select the correct answer that goes in here. Save my answer. I'm going to move on. This is matching. If you notice, there are 4 terms and 5 answer options. You could have 4 terms and 10 answer options. So the process of elimination isn't going to work in a case like that. You literally have to know your answers. So here, hot, I'm going to say this is B, which would be cold. Black, A for white, right. I'm going to say E, wrong. N, C for out. Save it and go. This is a multiple answer question, as in check all that apply. Notice that it has a checkbox. I'm going to say these ones. Okay, I'm going to now. If you think that just checking all of them is going to get you, yeah, you got all the right answers because they're in there somewhere. Blackboard can make it so that it subtracts points for the ones that you checked that are incorrect. So the check them all system doesn't work here. Okay, this is a multiple choice, meaning there is only a single answer. If you notice, there are radio buttons here as opposed to the check boxes. So here you pick the correct answer, save it, none. Okay, this is an order question. Let's see, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, saving my answer. And this is a true false question. So I can save that answer. But if by chance I didn't save that answer, I could have gone ahead and clicked save and submit, which you can see above or below. It doesn't matter which of those you click on. So any unsaved answer, I mean, they should at this point all be saved, but just as a double check by Blackboard, they have the save and submit. So I'm going to click save and submit. Now, in this pop-up that came up at the top, be sure to read that, particularly if you have a test that displays all of the questions at once. Maybe you missed one. It will list in this pop-up, it will say something to the effect of, you have not answered questions 2, 7, and 9, or maybe just whatever. But all of the questions that don't have answers selected for them are going to be listed in this pop-up box. I recommend you go back and at least guess. If you didn't know the answer to those, at least guess. Something better than nothing. If it's like this and it says, doesn't list any questions that haven't been answered, you can click OK. This takes us to our submission receipt. I recommend that you take a screenshot of this and paste it into a running document for this course. In case the world goes crazy and something happens, it's not going to happen, but just in case, to cover yourself, keep a screenshot, a picture format of this receipt. Now, when you submit an assignment in Blackboard, you get an email in your student email that Blackboard has received your assignment. Save those too. Just let them sit in there. But for the tests, it doesn't send an email like that. So to do that, you want to take a screenshot of this, paste it in that document, save that file. And so once we've done that, we want to click the OK button in the lower right corner, and it's going to tell us, it's going to take us to our submitted test. So if I look over here and it says 2 out of 2 points, that tells me I got the right answer. Needs grading is what it'll say on manually graded things. Okay, so here on question 5, it shows out of 2 points, I did not get 2 points. So it shows me a partial grade, which means I need to go study whatever that question was about. All the rest of these, I have 2 out of 2 points. But if you have 0 out of 2 points, you just straight up missed that one. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Now, your instructors may have live meetings at a specified time, and they may use Collaborate or Zoom. Whichever one they don't use, they will delete whichever one they're not using. So if it's Collaborate, now your instructor might record a class session and then post the recording of that class lesson over here and say Collaborate. And I mean, they may have sessions listed out in this area that you're expected to join at whatever the specified time date is. But if you're looking for a recording of, say, your last class meeting time, you can go up here to this menu and click on recordings. Now, I don't have any recordings in here, but they would be listed here. So that's here in the menu, recordings. Okay. So course messages. This is kind of like email, but it's an internal system. You can only communicate with other people that are in this class section. You cannot, if you're in your English class, you cannot communicate to, say, somebody in your math class, unless they're also in this class. But only the students and the instructor for this class are accessible through this. So here we have a folder for my inbox. I have, everything says nothing here. So I'm going to create a message. Now, the way to select someone is all the same for these. This is your primary recipient. This is who you might carbon copy, that everybody can see you carbon copied. And this is blind carbon copy. So anyone you send it to does not see who you blind carbon copy. They would see who you carbon copied, but not blind carbon copied. So as an example, let's say one of your classmates says, hey, you want to cheat with me on this test. You could reply and do a blind carbon copy to your instructor and say, thanks, but no thanks. I don't do that. And your fellow student would never know that you let your instructor know. So just understand that your fellow students might be reporting you to that way. So the way to select somebody to receive is you click on, whichever one these are. You scroll through to find, and the names are going to display like you see here. So I am going to select a name, and here between these boxes, you see two buttons with chevrons. So I'm going to click the chevron that points this way to move that recipient into the recipient's box. It would work the same way down here. Again, I have a required subject, as displayed through that orange asterisk. Let's see, I'm making up stuff. This helps to spell things right. Okay, so let's say I'm asking a question about, the assignment. I could upload, attach a file here, or I can just type in my question or whatever. So then I click submit. So notice now I have one item that's been sent. I could, if I have received messages, they would show here as, when I first go to look at them, it's going to show how many I have unread, and then it's going to show the total of how many I have received. And to go into that, so I would, let's see, let me exit the preview because I have, I do have some in here. Okay, so here I have, here is what it looks like before I read the message. Here's what it looks like after I've opened it. And the simple way of opening those is clicking on the blue letters. Blue indicates that it's a link. So I click on it and it, it shows me whatever it is. So I click OK. And if I'm done in here, I can simply click OK, or I could just go out here. So let me go back into this. So in order to see my grades, I would have to go to my grades. Here is what it looks like. This gold icon here is the indicator that I have made a submission, but it hasn't been graded yet. The instructor has to go and manually grade that one essay question. So here I've submitted assignment 1 that has been graded. Now, notice all of these other things. Let's say those are assignments that I missed the due date. So I have no submission. There are points out here that I'm missing. Now, even though this one assignment that does have a grade, I made 50 out of 50, and my total column says I got 50 out of 50, I look like I'm doing great. Well, if these are all missed assignments, not so much, because you have to add those points up, all of the points in this column, and then subtract however many points are down here and work your percentages to see how you're actually doing. Now, your instructor at some point may put zeros in all of those, which is good, but they don't always do that. In their gradebook view, it tells them, X number of points earned out of X points possible. So they have a different way of seeing this. So just because you got your grade up here looks great, if you have a bunch of empty things down here, you are not doing great. Okay. Now, if there is a grade and a little blue like text bubble like you see in cartoons, click on that blue text icon, the old blue text bubble. That indicates that there is feedback from your instructor that you need to read. Now, if I want to see if this had been graded, I could, the grade on it would be a link. Yes, let's say I made 20 out of 20 points on this, or 15 out of 20. I could click on the grade. It would open the test up, and I could see what has been, what I missed on it and everything. I could drill down into it. Below my grades is Blackboard Help. This is an external link to Blackboard, and you can look up how to do something. For example, if you need to know how to take a test, just type in test. It's going to open up articles that will walk you through whatever it is you need to know. It opens in a different tab, so when you're done, you can just close that. Tutor.com. This is a free service that is available to all students 24/7. Say you're in a business class, it pre-authorizes you when you click in it from inside your class. Let's see, just click on whatever it is, business, and click connect now. If you have a question with and you have a file, you could attach one there. They will help you. Like I said, this is free, available to all students. Once you're done with that, you can just close that tab. The information section, if your instructor has that, there may be, different kinds of information in there. Course documents, if they have that one. There's, grading policy is probably going to be in the syllabus these days. There may be, there would be links to privacy policies, additional technologies, learning outcomes, different types of information like that. Again, we'll go back to the home page, and that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or you need help with Blackboard, you are welcome to contact me. My name is Aurora Adney. My email is aadney@asutr.edu. Or you can find me on the web, on the college website, in the directory, or you can call the main number and say, I need help with Blackboard. Connect me to the Blackboard lady, and they'll find me. Anyway, have a great semester. And if you need me, my office is in the Arts and Sciences building on the 2nd floor across from the open lab. And don't hesitate to ask me. I'm here to help.